that. Let me just try and scooch this way a bit more. My laptop's over this way. That's not really comfortable. Oh, I used my chair last time, didn't I? That's what it was. That's okay. As long as I can to turn this. Let me just clear the background mess. All my cushions. Oh. I can turn this way. I don't like this flap sticking up here. I know you can't see it, but I can. It's a bit annoying. What can I use to flatten it? Let's try that. Heating off or heating on? I'm a little bit hot. Let's turn the heating off. Oh. Hi Dee. Hi Rebecca, all is good. We can... Thank you. I'm glad you can hear me and see me. So welcome everyone to the stream. So if you're new to watching me doing these streams, I do these every Thursday evening at 8:30 p.m. and every Sunday morning at 10:30 a.m. But I'm not here next Sunday morning, so I'm doing a private meeting. So you're free to join that. It's next Sunday at 10 o'clock. And to find out about that, go to rebekahmaroon.com. Under, I think it's under upcoming events. You'll see it under there. I do it once a month online. So I'm not here next Sunday. So to ask questions during this live stream, you have to friend me on Skype, and my Skype address is Rebekah Maroon, and then you can either write a question or just write and say, can I call it in, or can you call me, and I'll call you through Skype with your question. on my phone that I use to record these streams, I can't see chat very long. It pops up and disappears. I can't keep following the chat, so it's best to message me on Skype. And there are various links below this video in the box, which you can look at and link through to. I am streaming live. MJ is saying, am I streaming live this morning? I am, MJ. But I guess you can't hear me. So that's it. So we'll just sit quietly for a little bit, and then I might start speaking, and then you can ask questions through Skype. Hi, MJ. So I imagine all the trolls, all the trolls leave if I'm quiet. So I've titled this stream Knowing Who You Are, I think. And this is the most important thing. The most important thing and the most overlooked thing. And it's the end of suffering. The end of seeking. The end of the confusion. So there seems to be two parts to this. I'll say it like that. There's two parts to it. So what I could mean is knowing who you are as a human. So knowing your pattern, knowing what you've been struggling with, knowing what you prefer, knowing who you are as a human, knowing that human, knowing your flaws, knowing how you are. And then there's and that, just to add, that knowing who you are as a human makes life easier, makes the experience of being human easier, knowing what your tendencies have been towards people, relationships, towards career, knowing who you are, what you like, what you don't like, what you want, what you don't want, your boundaries, knowing who you are, how that human is, understanding the human. And then there's knowing who you are. Knowing who you really are beyond human. And that is what the freedom is. That is what that joy is. That is what these talks are essentially about. Knowing who you are beyond that human. And when I speak to people, privately usually, it tends to be more about the human. So they're struggling with the human. The focus is so strongly on the human. And they're wanting help with the human. And that's totally okay. But it's not the freedom that I'm talking about. Understanding the human, it seems to be an endless thing. While the body is here, there will be a learning and a growing around the human. And that's happening here. And it's such a love and a joy to understand Rebekah more and more. It's just so beautiful. It's so, I just love it. I love it. I love it. The growth of Rebekah. I love it. I love it. I really love it. I really love it. And it's endless. It's beautiful. Beautiful. When it's not beautiful, it's because there's so much investment in it. When there's that sense of separation, obsessed with the human understanding, it becomes heavy and tiring and frustrating. Because there's a belief that you will find freedom in sorting out the human. You will find freedom in understanding and knowing the human. And there's no freedom found in that. Yes, there can be a relaxing, there can be an ease, but there won't be what you're looking for, which is freedom and love. Won't be found in understanding the human. That's an endless thing. An endless growth and understanding of the human. That is important, but it doesn't hold freedom. It doesn't hold that love you're longing for. So in a way, there has to be a separating of the two. One's working on the human and one's seeing who you are. But in the same breath, I can say that it's not two, it's both as well. It's both as well. But in another way, it's separated. Like it feels, at least here, that there was a level of understanding the human before this shift. But then since this shift, it's even more. And it feels like here, my theory on it is that because the seeking energy isn't invested in that anymore, isn't there anymore to invest in the human growth, the human's then free to grow. Like when the seeker was there, it's so obsessed about its story and what's happening and the journey of itself in time. It's just that happening, playing out. And so there's a total unawareness of the actual human. It's just lost in this story of itself. All there is a story of me playing. So it's removed from what's actually happening, the actual human experience. It just knows itself as me, the story. So that peace you long for isn't found in that human understanding of the human. That doesn't mean that that shouldn't happen, but it won't lead to freedom. That rest that's being longed for, that peace. That full stop. That full stop is right here. Who you really are is right here, and it's not a person, it's not a thing. It's not a character or a personality or a trait or a quality. This is a bit cold, so get some more hot water. Number 2 seconds. This is what you long for, to discover who you are. I love how loving you are with Rebekah. The thing is, there isn't a Rebekah. There isn't a Rebekah. There is just love. There is just love, and Rebekah is just a describer. Describer? Label. But it's not a someone, an entity, a thing. We have to use labels. You can't, and labels aren't the problem. Labels aren't the problem. Labels are a way to communicate. This is a cup. This is a table. This is a lady. That isn't the problem. The problem seems to be this energy that believes it is someone, and that these labels are mine. They refer to who I am. And I love this message because it's not about avoiding the human or the manifest. It's not avoiding it. It's totally including it. It totally is it. And then this is wholeness. This is wholeness. Everything is wholeness. So in the awakening, there can be a stage of like rejecting or resisting these things, labels and the world, and because it isn't who you are, and yet it is who you are. It's just the way it seems to happen. It has to be seen that this is nothing, but then it has to collapse into everything. And that's contradictory or paradoxical to the mind and the intellect. But that's totally okay. It's not about fixing it, trying to understand the paradox, trying to understand the mystery. The mystery, the paradox, contradictions are totally okay. Totally okay. You can't work this out with the mind. You can't make it simple with the mind. Because the mind doesn't get this. The mind doesn't get this. So, who are you? Who is this person you believe yourself to be? Who are you? Is that really who you are? So all these things we know about ourselves, our gender, our race, our religion, our likes, our dislikes, our traumas, our conditioning, our family situation, all these things. Is that who you are? Who's listening now and looking now and breathing now? Is that a gender? Is that a race? Is that a daughter? Is that someone with trauma? Somebody successful? A failure? Who's breathing? Is it big? Is it small? Does it agree or disagree? Who's producing the thoughts that appear? Not what the thoughts are saying, but who's producing them. Whether they're saying this or saying that. Where are they coming from? Does that have a quality? Is that big or small? This isn't pointed out into society, in school or at home. It should be like lesson one. Lesson one in the class. Who's producing those thoughts? Forget geography. Forget World War II. Where's it all coming from? What's it all made up of? Can we find the beginning? Can we find the looker? Can we find the speaker? Can we find and hold on to anything? Can you find and hold on to happiness? Is it found in someone, in something that you can chase and chase until you get it and keep it? Will that ever happen? Will you ever find that thing you can keep and say, this is it? Is it worth all the striving? Will you find fulfillment and wholeness in the striving? But that would change society. That would change everything. The mind doesn't get this. I just found this to be true. Yeah. So you're welcome to send questions. I'm online. So thank you so much for this. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I can't be a teacher for you, but I can express this. I can express this. This waking up to who you are, who you really are. That's it. That's what's longed for. And on the human level, it looks like you being who you are. You being who you are as a human. Sending lots of love, and I'll see you next time. Bye.